Hey guys, Brian here with Better Chess Training, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a little review of the Forward Chess app. I think it's a neat little app, and I'm going to show you some of its features as well as what I think, how I plan on using it in my own chess training and how you could use it in yours.
Okay, what I'd like to do today is talk to you about the Forward Chess app. I have to admit, several months ago, I was approached by Forward Chess and asked me to do a review of their app, and I told them I would. And it's been several months, so I apologize for that. But actually, the time between then and now actually helped me to appreciate this app a lot more. So I think being able to use the app as I have recently is giving me a better chance to review this. So hope you guys enjoy this. What is Forward Chess? It is a app for your phone and devices where you basically can purchase chess books, and I'm going to show you the store here. I was looking at it earlier. That's why we have a lot of different publishers. Some of you may recognize Quality Chess, Everyman Chess, Russell Enterprises. So a lot of well-known as well as some smaller chess publishers are on here, and there's a big collection of books. I'm just scrolling through here real quick, and you purchase the book on the app, okay, and then you can play them. Okay, this is different. It's sort of like so what I used to do before I started using Forward Chess is I would purchase books on Kindle. And then I have a chess playing program on my phone, and I use the phone's multi window function to kind of have the chess book in the bottom, and then the chessboard, and then I would read along. And it was a little clunky because sometimes the one of the windows would close, and I'd have to reopen it. So when I was trying to use it on my phone, it wasn't as efficient. But the Forward Chess app kind of puts those two things together in a very nice and fairly easy to use way. So, Forward Chess, let me play around with a couple books. Talbot-Vinnick 1960 was one that was on my list to look at. And here I'm on game 8. First off, let me just say, in general, when I have some time, so after work, after the kids are in bed, I like to break out a physical chessboard and a traditional book or a book on my Kindle and move the pieces with my, physically. But as a parent with 3 kids and a business and a lot of different activities, it's often hard to have a lot of dedicated time to chess. And this is where the Forward Chess app comes in. And let me show you how it works. So you can see here that you have the board here, and you have this book. By the way, this is a great book, Talbot-Vinnick 1960. Maybe I'll do a separate review on it. In any case, here, read through. This is a game I actually went through already, or at least most of it. And you can play the moves out here. You can click on the text, as I'm doing right now, and play through the moves. Or you can use the arrow buttons there as well. So it just depends on your style. It took me a while. I kind of switched back between both. And then here we can see this is a variation. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And then you can play through that as well and read the text just like you would in a traditional chess book, except that it's the nice thing about doing it on the phone or digitally, I guess you could say, is that you don't need to reset the board. It's easier to reset the board than it is on a traditional chessboard. So basically, I went through and I studied this book while I was on the plane, and it's very nice. The way one of the things I really like about the app is the way it ported over from the physical books. Because all of the text is here, and you could read it just like a chess book. Now, what you can do when you play through these variations and you're studying, you might find a spot, for example, right here, where you're wondering what might have happened. And maybe, and sometimes in our chess books, the author does not put down all of the variations that maybe we're thinking of. If we're actively trying to study a book, we're actively trying to find good moves in the book, it's often, sometimes you're wondering, well, what if this would have happened? And then you try to analyze it. Well, here, after queen takes c4, you might be wondering, well, what happens? And let me get to the spot in the book here. And here, it doesn't say what happens if black takes on c4. And you can analyze it yourself and actually make moves that are not in the book. And the other thing you can do is right over here, you can actually hit the button here and put stockfish on the job as well. And so you can see here that white has a huge advantage after capturing on c4, whereas in the text, when black retreats, you can see that the advantage is not so great. So let me turn off the engine. So you can do some analysis outside of what's in the book, which is really great. I really enjoy using this app. The area, I guess, where it fits into, I think it could fit for a lot of people, is times when you cannot be at your computer or with your chess books, and you have moments where you can't need time. So this is another way I've been using it recently. As I mentioned, I have 3 kids, and they have a lot of sports practices and music lessons that I have to bring them to, and often I'll just be sitting there. And so one of the things I've been doing lately is utilizing forward chess. And what I'll do is I will set a bookmark on specific spots, and you can name them various things. And I'm not gonna do this one right now, but that way you can. What I've found is that you can set little bookmarks at places, and then maybe add a note. For example, study a specific line or whatever it is. And then next time I'm sitting in my car waiting, or sitting at the music lesson waiting for my son to finish his music lesson, I can pull out the app and continue where I'm from. So I really like this app. I think it's really well made. You has a very good selection of books, very good publishers. The place where I'm finding Forward Chess to be very helpful, study master games and collections of master games, so that's why this Tal Botvinnik is very good. And what you'll find, and this is what I found, is if you're playing over games of Tals and games of Botvinnik, and playing them in a fairly short period of time, if you're playing through 10 of their games in over a couple weeks, then you start to get a sense of their style and what makes them great players. For example, Tal, he's known as a great attacker, but I have to. My phone keeps dimming here, so I'm going to keep moving along here. But what you find is that in his text, and as you study his moves, he wasn't just a great attacker. He was actually a very knowledgeable. Of course, he was a world champion, so he's very versed in a lot of parts of chess. But he was very strong with positional chess as well. He did have I guess, a desire to be aggressive more often. But Botvinnik is known as a positional player, kind of an end game player. But what you see when I was studying these games is that Tao would often play very positionally in specific situations that called for it, and Botvinnik would be very tactical, very aggressive in positions that called for it as well. So I guess the idea is that you study games of great players. And as you can see, if we go back here, I also have Bent Larson's games. When you study games of great players, you get a sense of the power behind their play, or what makes them a great player. And you can kind of see where you want to emulate aspects of it in your own game. For example, with Larson, he was a great fighter. What do I mean by that? I meant that he was uncompromising. If he was given the choice between a safe position that didn't really offer too much, but he wasn't going to get blown up in, and a more complex position where there were chances for both sides, he would often most often opt for the more complicated position. And you get a sense of it only through studying those games. And as you know, I do recommend active participation, the solitary chess where you try to guess the moves and you try to analyze it yourself. And I do highly recommend it. But there is a place for studying games and playing through them, especially when the author of the book, and this is kind of getting back to the forward chess, when the author of the book is the actual player, because he can give you his thoughts and you can start to, I don't want to say through osmosis, but start to pick up little patterns on how they think. Like Tal, a lot of times he talks about being aggressive, but then he only does so when the position has positional justification. In any case, getting back to forward chess, I highly recommend it. And the way I would recommend using it is pick up a game collection, and there's a lot of really good ones here. Quality chess I recommend for maybe more intermediate advanced players. Everyman Chess has books. Here, for example, here's some great ones by Kasparov. I'm actually going through some of those too, my great predecessors. And pick up a game collection and use those times when you are, when you don't have a full hour to devote to a training session. When you have those 15 minutes where you're waiting in line somewhere, or if you are, if I'm early for a meeting, I'll take 10 minutes and I'll play through, go through one of my bookmarks and play through a couple positions and try to get a little more understanding. And I think forward chess is a really great tool for that.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that review. If there are other chess tools that you use that you think might be helpful to other viewers, shoot me a message and I'd be happy to see if I can take a look at it and give you my opinion. Of course, it is just my opinion. But in case of the Forward Chess app, their link is down below. Check that out, and I really enjoy using it, and I hope that you will as well.